The Pareto Principle states that for many goals, roughly 80% of desired results come from 20% effort. For us dirt bike riders, that may mean 80% of our dirt bike's desired performance can come from 20% of the overall modifications. The Warpig 2.0 has received only a few performance upgrades so far from my original DR, so we hit the single trail to test this bare minimum setup of tyres, stock carburetor, near stock suspension with only heavier front springs from the previous owner, and the compression screw turned all the way in on the rear, along with a couple initial thoughts on other minor parts. Hopefully we can show potential DR owners they need not get overwhelmed and that the setup of these glorious bikes may not be as complicated as once thought, at least to achieve 80% excellence.
The carb is so stock that I haven't even pulled out that air fuel mixture cover, the little dot over the air fuel mixture screw. It's a little bit, I notice when I'm on the road or on open stuff, flat through the middle of the range, so like the needle could use a bit of a tweak, but as far as like my fuel range is sick, I'm pretty sure I can get like 400 k's on a 20 litre tank. There's no way I could do that on my other bike. The carb is actually, well, not strong. It was the exhaust made all the difference. Is the biggest change going to this exhaust over the stock exhaust. Really cleaned up that flutter in the beginning of the revs, like, and also going to the 44 rear sprocket instead of the 42 rear sprocket. I find it was very chattery at the beginning of the revs until I'd done those two changes. As far as the carby goes, shit, it's hardly even popping. Like, it was popping before on my other bike, whereas this has really sort of gotten quite clean. It's I hardly ever hear it popping. Have you heard it popping yet? I'm not hearing it popping. It's a bit cooler today, it's like cold.
And yet the carburetor never seems too lean, even though we're at sea level and the weather's cooling down. Although I will be turning out the air fuel screw to richen it up for winter riding.
I just can't fault the carby. I'm happy with it. So what I did notice with my handlebars, I've just left it in whatever position that last guy had, the original owner. I don't know if that was stock position, but I felt like my hands were in my lap, so I've just picked them up a little bit, pushed them forward just a tiny bit, get my hands up a bit more, get my hands a bit further forward so I'm not steering at my knees. But like, as far as the height goes, I like the movement that I've got. Like, it's instant. You feel connected when it's not, when your handlebars aren't too high. Well, I do. I think those risers, when you pick your risers up, you feel less connected to the instant response of your inputs, like we're riding a scooter. Yeah, steering from way too far away from the wheels.
On a side note, I do feel a set of full wrap handguards is also a pretty handy upgrade for the bush to help save your fingers and levers.
What else did I notice? I have noticed, because this has a lower shifter for whatever reason, well, its pegs are further back maybe. I have to have no, I put the shifter on anywhere else and it starts hitting the frigging cases. So I have to run the shifter lower. And it actually got clicked out of gear a couple of times by shrapnel and shit on the trail when I was coming through that last section. There's rear set pegs. I actually find myself not putting weight down in the corners because I'm trying not to take too much weight off the front. Just that, like, seems to put too much weight at the back. I'm going to keep trialling them to really get a good feel for it. But like, you're getting your weight forward for cornering, you've always got that rear sort of weighted rather than the middle of your bike. It feels like she's slightly off center. 50mm drop and 30mm rearward offset, which is potentially overkill build. You're probably looking more for about 15, I would reckon, if you're going to go backwards, if you want to offset rearward. I feel like I might have more grip. Oh, it's hard to tell because it's just range. This is the first moist dirt, like primo dirt condition. But because of how the rear of the bike's reacting with my weight actually doing stuff to the spring instead of just sitting up high, it feels like I'm maybe getting more grip with this lighter string. So I'll probably be sticking with it. In the rear I'm noticing it as well, like she just won't settle coming into corners, etc. You settle in and then she wants to bop back up. Makes it interesting. And like whoops and that, bumps, she sort of wants to send you into the nose, even though it's definitely using it a fair bit more. But like consecutive bumps, I don't know, maybe I am bottling, which also is another reason that getting the revalve done, I might be able to get away with this spring with the revalve, and that will give me some bottoming resistance. Here we are now, just in like sandy wood, and I just realised that you can bottom out with this spring.
Yep, sure could do with some extra damping control for whoops.
I've got plenty of grip. I think a bunch of new tyres is really handy as well. Nice set of new tyres.
Obviously, tyres are a relatively easy way to skyrocket your bike's performance if you're going to be spending time in the dirt. The Motoz Tractionator Desert HT up front, 9100 fatty, and the Motoz Rail Z out the back, for us, is as much tyre as the DR is ever gonna need, with plenty of traction and a consistent feel in the now wet season dirt. So this Motoz Rail Z, it has plenty of good traction on wet gravel. It's really only when you're on the dry gravel, as most things are, but it feels consistent on the wet gravel, whereas on the dry gravel it's not consistent, it's a bit all over the placey. Be sure to check out this wild ride for more of this footage, and this video for a better look at what the DR is truly capable of. Peace!